Palmerston North, I accept this formidable task to do battle with criers from distant empires. I am ready to do as I'm asked.
Caroline Robinson probably needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce her anyway as Palmerston North's town crier. And Caroline is our latest international rep. Congratulations. You're off to where?
I'm going to Kingston, Ontario, Canada.
Not Kingston, Jamaica, man?
No, not Kingston, Jamaica, man. Actually, everybody, when I say I'm going to Kingston, they say, I thought you were going to Canada. And I say, yes, I am. It's an education thing, you see. Because we've even got Kingston down south. We've got the Kingston Flyer, haven't we? So Kingston, Ontario, Canada is where I'm going.
And why?
I'm going as a guest of, or competitor, if you like, for the International Invitational Town Crier Tournament.
They have tournaments for town criers?
They certainly do, Richard. Everything is bang on competition.
But you've got no number on your jersey.
No, I don't have a number on my jersey. If I did, I'd be wearing, there's two choices. It would be either Richie McCaw's number or our darling Aaron Cruden.
Well, what about number one?
As the winner, well, I'll earn that over there.
So tell us about this invitational tournament. I take it you had to be invited to attend.
You do, actually. What happens is, because there are so many town criers in the world and there are varying expertise, say, and people don't know if they're going to host a tournament, how many people would be coming. What they do is they say, if you would like to come, put your name forward. They go through the list and they choose those whom they would like to invite. And so we've been very lucky in New Zealand. There's two of us going. One from the South Island, one from the North Island.
Now, the interesting thing about that is that the one from the South Island just happens to be related to you.
She does. She's my little sister, my younger sister, Paddy Ann Pemberton, and she is representing Central Otago.
So it's going to be not only a competition between all those international criers, but it's getting down. It's getting down to it.
Sibling rivalry is exactly what it's going to be.
So, just out of the two of you, who's got the edge?
Well, I think we've actually got areas of expertise that the other probably is a little better at than the other. Paddy's certainly won some, accolades in her own right, as have I. So I wouldn't like to say, actually, it'll be the judges' call. Isn't that diplomatic?
That's not going to cause any ructions at Christmas.
Not at all, not at all. I think I still need a Christmas card, Paddy. Thank you.
All right, so you're in your resplendent regalia here.
Oh, I know. Isn't it fabulous? Absolutely. I'm just so pleased with it. This was made for me by a senior student from the Palmerston North School of Design here in Palmerston North. Her name is Kat Robinson, and she's no relation, but she needed a project last year, so I was approached by Mike Sawell and Christine from up at the School of Design, and they said, look, we have a senior student who needs a project. You've lost all this weight. Do you need a new regalia? And I'm saying, oh, yes. And they said, well, how about she researched town crier regalia or uniforms, as you can call it either way, or livery is another word, but never a costume. And she would research those, and we will make you a new livery. And I said, thank you very much.
Just explain the various parts to this livery.
Various parts. Right, well, I have a cotton tabard, what they call a cotton fabric, and it has sort of like fern type pattern on it, and I have embellished with a kuru design braiding. I have it's very subtle, but our city's town clock, Palmerston North City Town Clock, is actually stitched into the back of this tabard in very fine silver thread. Silver thread is the word. And then this here is the most beautiful boiled wool coat, and it's called a coachman coat. And my tricorn hat and my buckled shoes and my three-quarter pants.
Sartorially elegant.
Thank you very much, sir.
And certainly looking the part. Now, we are sitting in the convention centre because you've just been the official, I suppose, the host of a citizenship ceremony.
Well, the mayor is actually the host. He runs the whole ceremony. My task is to read the names of those becoming New Zealand citizens, and then as I read their name, they come forward onto the stage and they're presented with a certificate which gives them their nationality for New Zealand.
And just looking at the names, they come from all over the world.
They've come from all over the world. We've got Bhutanese, Fijian, Samoan, Tongan. We've had Egyptian. We've had Russian, Afghanistan. Yes, all over, as you say, all over the world.
And others from Zimbabwe, from the US of A, and
Not
Britain.
today, but yes, in the past we've had German, we've had Hungarian, we've had Lithuanian, you name it, we've had them. And it's wonderful, and they've all come to live in the wonderful Palmerston North.
Now, you were yourself out and about during the Arts on Edge Day and the Square Edge Open Day.
That was fabulous. I really, and this is what I'm thinking about. I'm so excited about getting over to Kingston, Ontario, because they encapsulate in one small area everything that I hold dear that happens in New Zealand. They have the large markets of Auckland. They have the arts. They have the Oamaru stone. You know, like we have the Oamaru limestone. They have buildings of limestone over there. They have outside movies like we did with Real Earth. They have antique shops and second-hand shops, and I just can't wait to get there.
Well, what is it about Kingston? We hear of Toronto and all the other big, Vancouver and all the other big centres. Tell us a bit about Kingston.
Well, Kingston was originally going to be the capital of Canada. But because of the close proximity to the United States of America and the risk of insurgents and hence taking over, they were not given the title of capital city.
Now, when you talk about insurgents, you're talking about way back at the American Revolutionary War.
That's the thing. And don't ask me the date. I'm not good with numbers.
But, of course, there was a war fought in Canada between Britain and the French as well.
Absolutely, there was. And that's why you have Quebec still French-speaking. And, you know, the culture there, it's amazing. You know, they have their own culture. We have our culture. We have the Māori culture. You know, it's always brought home to me, we are the only country that has the Maori culture. We have the Maori language, we have the Maori music, we have their weapons, we have everything Maori. No other country has it. And I think that that's really precious. And I'm really keen to portray some of that over with me when I go to Kingston, as they will try to, or will no doubt enhance their cultural experiences.
You even use Maori in your official hailing process.
Yes, I do. It's really interesting. A lot of people say, whenever they go past me, well, they either think I'm a pirate, especially the guys, and they go, "Arr!" when they go past me, "Arr!" You know, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." But you know, that being said, the question was what?
So how many people have you made walk the plank then?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, carry on, Richard. What was the question? Homer Simpson, or it might have been Bart, got up once, dressed up as or was drawn with a town cry outfit, and went, "Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye." And now everybody thinks that that's what town criers say. But in fact, we say, "Oh yay, oh yay, oh yay," which is O-Y-E-Z, O-Y-E-Z, O-Y-E-Z. But I have had the blessing from the Tanga Te Whenua here to use whakarongo mai, whakarongo mai, whakarongo mai. And I often use that cry. And at least one, because in competition there's always three cries, but usually the homeland, the one about Palmerston North, I use whakarongo mai.
Now, how do they judge a town crier competition? What are the criteria?
Right. First of all, it starts 6 weeks prior to. They usually want the cries you've written. They stipulate what the topics of the cries will be. For example, this year we have to do a hometown cry, which will be for Palmerston North. They want us to do one on Sir John A. Macdonald, who was the first president. And then they also want us to do a cry on why Kingston is not the capital city of Canada.
But Canada hasn't got a president. They have a prime minister.
Well, that's the word. That's the word. The
A
first
prime minister's 2 words.
That's two, and that's one of the criteria. Counting, you have to be very specific because you have 6 judges, right?
Yes.
One judge sits with his back to you, and he has a copy of your cry, and he actually counts every single word you utter. And what has to happen is you must not deviate your cry from what you submitted. That which was submitted is on your scroll and must be delivered thus. You can't even have any asides because every or ah or that's right, madam, is actually counted as extra words. Or if you omit a word, gone. Well, not gone, but you lose some marks. And then there's also diction and inflection. There's sustained volume, all right? Sustained projection of your voice. A lot of people say, you're going out yelling again today. No, I'm going out to project my voice in a sustained manner. Thank you very much. And then there's, as I say, the content of the cry. Some criers will write in rhyme. I've done that in the past. I haven't done on this occasion, but some of them write it in rhyme. So you must keep to the topic. And then it's also dignity and bearing, how you deliver the cry, how you stand. And they call your name, and as soon as you stand to go on the stage, that is when you start being judged. Even if you're sitting here and they call your name and you walk, they're actually judging you on how, if you're doing it in a dignified manner and things like that. So there you go. There's a lot of things, it's not just a matter of getting up and ringing the bell and doing a yell.
Well, you've been in competitions before, so have you got the big game temperament?
The big game temperament? Am I tenacious? Have I got the tenacity to win? Is that what you're asking me? Well, as I said, with this weight loss, my voice is not as actually loud as it used to be because I don't have the abdominal bulk that I used to have to actually force it out. But I'm going to give it my best, effort.
So how many town criers are you competing against?
I think there are 29 other criers. And they come from Belgium, the United States, England, America, and Canada.
Because we think of England actually as the home of town crierdom, don't we? But it goes back
William the Conqueror brought that to England, but prior to that, the Greeks used to have runners, what they called town criers or runners. And they used to have to take a message, way back when they were having the wars, and the colonel or whoever he was, a Grand Poobah, would sit on his horse atop a hill and see these people coming to fight those people, and he would tell the runner to go and tell his men to move that way or move this way. And I'm pleased we don't have to run nowadays.
I was going to say, well, that could make the very first marathon runner, because he brought the message of a Greek victory to Athens on the plains of Marathon and died at the end of it.
Died at the end of it, absolutely.
So he could have been a town crier.
He could have very well been a town crier, yes, absolutely. And it's interesting, there's all these different things because in the UK, in Britain, especially in England, the town crier became very powerful. They were the Beatles, remember in Oliver Twist, and they had the big, they could shut down an alehouse. They could go in and taste the ale, and if they thought it was watered down, they could shut them down. They were in charge of the ducking stool. They were in charge of the, what do you call those things where they stick their heads and the hands through?
The stocks.
The stocks, yes, they were in charge of the stocks. And that's where you get the word bulletin. Because they would read, I think this is really quite funny, because they would read the edits, because of course most people were illiterate, and then they would put a bullet through the thing onto the door of the bar, or the whatever you called it in those days, and then people who could read went and read it. So there's your bulletin.
And it's also the origin of the word post as well.
That's right, yes, so you post bulletin, so, on the post outside the pub. So it's fascinating. The whole history of town crying is fascinating. And I tell you what, if there is anybody out there in good old Kiwiland who would like to know how to become a town crier, I am the person to ask, because I'm the president of the Honourable Guild of Town Criers for New Zealand, and we are very thin on the ground for criers. Don't ask me how many we have in the country, because I'm not going to tell you, but there are not enough of us. So if anybody would like to get dressed up in a very resplendent outfit and go out and be their city's town crier. There are some stipulations. You can't be the town clown. You have to be able to act in a dignified manner. You need to be able to mix with all people right across the board. And yes, we would love more people to come forward and apply to become town criers.
So how did you become town crier?
Well, in the year 2000, Palmerston North City Council and Massey University, they have this wonderful thing called Town and Gown. And they wanted to add a little bit of pomp and ceremony to the May graduation ceremonies for Massey. So they went around, they thought, we had Jill White here as the mayor at the time, and they thought, oh, something novel, we'll have a woman town crier. And so I've done a lot of amateur theatre, as you know, so I was invited to be the town crier. And it was only going to be for graduation week, and that was it. But it was so popular, here I am 13 years later still being the town crier. Having travelled the world, having won, as you say, quite a few accolades. I went to Chester in England, that was wonderful, 2004. And I competed in the inaugural women-only town crier championship, and I won that. And they've never held a women's only championship again, because I think some of the men got a little bit upset because they don't actually have a men's only competition, you see. So, you know, and now that I've let that out there, somebody's going to run one and going to knock me off my perch. But I won the inaugural one, you can't take that away from me.
So when are you competing in Kingston?
Right, well, I'm taking off on the 25th, from the 24th in Palmerston North to Auckland, and on the 25th, Paddy Ann and I fly out, and we're going into Toronto, and then we'll go over to Ontario, and then into Kingston. We're going because we would like to run an international tournament, invitational tournament here in New Zealand, and Paddy Ann has actually put her hand up because she comes from Central Otago, and Alexandra holds a Blossom Festival, which we believe, and we have been told by reliable sources, that is the longest running festival in New Zealand. So we're not going to be part of the Blossom Festival, but we will start our championship with the criers being involved in the Blossom Festival parade. And then after that, we will run an international championship. So we're going over a little bit earlier so that we can actually meet with the committee, see how they've run it, how they've got their funding, the types of things, you know, that they've actually had to organise to make this a successful event. And then, as you know, I work at St Peter's College here in Palmerston North, have done so for 18 years, and they've kindly given me the first 2 weeks of term 3 off, so I will be back in the country on the 10th of August and start back at school on the 12th.
Sounds like a good one.
It sounds like a very good one. I honestly, I've been to a lot of competitions. Mr. Ohashi from International Pacific College, while it wasn't a competition, I was very blessed because he built a new university over in Okayama, and he invited me along with Dame Kath Tizard and a lot of the people who have been involved with the establishment of IPC here, and we all went over for the official opening of the new university. So I've been on this, you know, as being town crier, I've been to Japan, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand. I've been to Canada once, but that was just to a small place called Oak Bay. I've been to the United States. Yeah, so I've been everywhere, man. Town crying everywhere, man. Been fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
North, I accept this formidable task to do battle with criers from distant empires. I am ready to do as I'm asked. The weapons of choice be the loudest of voice, where words penned proved mightier than the sword. Our own compositions, suiting our dispositions, will be heard striking pleasing accord. The scene is set in Kingston, where history and innovation thrive, where criers will deliver their edits with passion, enthusiasm, and drive. God bless Kingston, Canada. God bless the Queen.